I'm Alan.
I'm Katie.
And welcome to Win the Day Project, where we talk about systems and all things systems and systems thinking. Today, we're going to answer a pretty important question. And that question is, how to achieve goals in life? Katie and I get that asked pretty regularly, and it's something we're really passionate about. It's easy to set goals, but how do you actually get them done? So we'll be talking about the 5 things that you need to do today to achieve the goals that you have for your life.
Before we get into it, go ahead and smash that like button, give us a thumbs up, help us with the YouTube algorithm, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe. If you click the bell notification, if you click the bell, you will get a notification every time we post new content. So let's jump in.
All right, so how do you achieve your goals in life? Step number 1, you have to create a vision. So, I've talked on other videos about I hit rock bottom, Katie hit her rock bottom. I was a couple of years removed from my rock bottom when I met Katie, and I think you were in the same situation. So I had set a vision for my life, and it was basically built around this simple concept of I wanted to build wealth, I wanted to get healthy, and I wanted to find happiness. And there's this little chart that I use to sort of demonstrate what that looks like. So that helped me frame the vision that I had for my life. I wanted to be as healthy as I could, and I wanted to extend my quality of life as long as I could. I wanted to build enough wealth to pay for that life and that lifestyle. And in the course of that, I wanted to find happiness, find relationships that just brought me joy, do the work that I really wanted to do, not the work that I had to do to pay the bills. And so that was sort of the foundation of the vision that I created for my life. And I remember early on in our relationship, Katie and I had some pretty deep conversations, but specifically I remember the first time we had our own sort of vision building conversation at
Cheesecake Factory. We are not sponsored, but if they want to send us a gift certificate, that's okay too.
So, I mean, what did you think about that experience? It was pretty...
Yeah, that's a great question. It was challenging for me to think in the way that we were working towards. And the reason I say challenging and why I think this is so important for you all to hear is we often think about goals in terms of like, this is my New Year's resolution and I'm going to lose weight. And right, we're not thinking in terms of an actual vision of what do we want to live the rest of our lives like, and then how, if that's our ultimate outcome, do we scale that back and figure out how do we make that happen? So some of the process that we were going through and the questions that we were asking one another in, that afternoon was, well, what does a year look like for us 10 years from now or 20 years from now? And included in those questions were like, what does the house look like that we're living in, or apartment, or whatever, type of establishment we were going to be residing in. And in my case, I've always had aspirations to have a vacation property outside of the United States. And so then knowing that was, part of the plan, how many times were we going to go visit other places, or travel is really important to me. How many trips a year were we going to be taking? And we kind of built what we expected to be wildly unattainable for us based on these grandiose dreams that we had, and we really let ourselves dream. And when push came to shove and we started putting like dollars to, if we want to achieve these things and if this is what we want a year to look like, how much money do we have to have in the year to accomplish that? We recognized that while we thought it was totally unattainable, it was actually pretty attainable. We just had to button up, some places in our life and change focus on a few things to turn that dream into a reality, which was probably one of the most exciting things. But the process to get myself there was difficult.
Yeah. So the goal is, or the intent of the exercise is to dream big. Ask those types of questions about the vision you have for your life. Where are you living? What are you doing? In a year, how many trips are you taking? What kind of cars are you driving? All the expenses that you would have inside of a year, list all those out, and you go out and get current dollars. How much would it cost you to not have to work and live off of, I think the 5% rule we were using, where we were just drawing off 5% of our portfolio. The number came out to $2.2 million,
We were spending about $110,000 a year.
Yeah.
And then we would be comfortable based
Really
on our
comfortable.
based on our spending habits. If
Yep.
we had 2.2 million
Size portfolio.
in the bank.
Yeah. So that's how we set our vision for our life. We revisit that every once in a while just to make sure we're still on the same page and we're still heading in the right direction. So that gives us our North Star, and all other decisions are sort of directed through that lens of how it's going to impact the vision that we have for our life.
Moving on to the second thing that we need to achieve those goals in life, and that is to align your values. What is the most important to you? For me, again, if I'm thinking in terms of how I was raised, all of the things that have been super impactful to me and kind of made me who I am, family is my number one value, and honesty and integrity. We interact with not just blood family, but family for us is an extension of a lot of friends. We live far away from our blood family members, so a lot of our friends and people that we socialize with have become family for us. And living and working and finding employment and getting to have jobs that allow us to have integrity, honesty. It's really how we choose to live. What about you?
I think the other most important core value for us was just hard work. We just believe in it. We live it. It's a part of who we both were as individuals and now together as a couple. We didn't want to go through any gimmicks or tricks or shortcuts in order to achieve the vision that we had established for ourselves. So we admitted to ourselves we're willing to put in the work. We're going to put in the work. We knew it was going to take work. I think we saw that with open eyes and open hearts, and approached achieving our vision through that lens. So family, honesty, hard work is what we live by, and it makes it a lot easier to make decisions when you're presented with different opportunities, right? So in the course of pursuing your goals, there's tons of different ways to achieve those goals. It's just important to remember that your core values are going to be your anchor. It's going to help you determine, should we try this tactic or that tactic? Well, if it doesn't align with your core goals or core values, then there's no point in even entertaining it. No pyramid schemes on this. No pyramid schemes, no craziness, just pure old-fashioned hard work. Go visit your family as much as we can. Enjoy the family that we have local to Orlando, and live an honest life and try to do right by people. And it makes decision making a lot easier.
For sure.
All right, the third thing you need to achieve the goals in your life is to actually sit down and create the goals. Now, this is going to be, somewhat controversial. We'll get through it. There's a ton of different ways to set goals, and one popular way is SMART goals. And one of the issues I have with SMART goals, and we can list what SMART means, the acronym means. If you haven't heard it before, I'll list it over here. But basically, the biggest issue I have is with the time component of the SMART goals. And that is this idea that goals should be time bound. And it's a very, I don't agree with it, because I feel like if you set a time, you will work to fill that time, right? Something called Parkinson's Law, that the work expands to fill the time that it has. So you may set a goal that takes a year, but you could actually get it done in 6 months if you just worked harder or done things faster. The other thing is a lot of times we set goals and we have no idea how long it takes. And then like if it takes longer than we originally expected, then we get discouraged and disappointed and all the things. So, and then third point on that is that, and we've seen this quite a bit whenever we have goals set in our inside of our gym with our fitness or our weight loss challenges, is once people hit the time frame, then they go back to their old ways, or they forget the goal, or they move on. I achieved the goal, and there's nothing after it. So the time component of a SMART goals, not a big fan of. Other than that, we set monthly goals, we set weekly goals, we put our goals on a whiteboard. We hung it in the living room on a giant whiteboard, and we were our own accountability partners, and we went after them with fervor and passion and dedication, and we celebrated whenever we achieved a small weekly goal, that we were going to go to the gym, or that we were going to save a certain amount of money to help us hit that financial goals that we set for ourselves, or that we did the thing that helped us go see family or visit family. We'd celebrate those little goals, even if they were really small, and we made it a habit, which we'll talk about in a little bit, of just, we set a goal, we achieved it, no matter how small it is, we were going to celebrate it.
Yeah, the other thing I think that has really helped us as well is, instead of looking at things, and we do this annually, so we will sit down in and around the end of the current year that we're in, and we'll talk about what does next year look like for us. But instead of one New Year's resolution, which is pretty common, we have established buckets that we want to work towards. And so it incorporates something that is for our mind, something that is for our body, something that is for our financial, something that is for our relationships. So we aren't just working towards one thing, right? If we're thinking about, for us, the ultimate is we want to be healthy, we want to be able to live as long as we can and interact with all the things and live the highest quality of life. But financially, we want to be secure and able to do all of those wonderful things, and that will provide us the happiness that we're looking for. So it can't just be one thing. We've talked about how systems interact with each other quite a bit on this channel, and all of those parts and components come together to create that happiness that we want you to find. So compartmentalizing them and really giving yourself an opportunity to focus on mind, body, spirit, finances is going to be a significant boost for you to set those goals, but also then have more success in achieving them.
Absolutely. So our goal system, to Katie's point, we do an annual planning session, and then we do a monthly check-in, and we even do weekly check-ins, like how does week go? So we have like monthly tick marks on the board, and we'll check it off like, hey, we did this thing this month. Hey, we're over budget on entertainment this week. we need to pare it back. So annual goal, monthly check-in, weekly check-in on the weekly goals, and yeah, you just keep going. New Year's resolutions are just another week in our house. So we do weekly resolutions, if you will. Okay, so the fourth thing that you need to achieve the goals in your life are routines. And I love geeking out on routines, so we're gonna geek out for a minute. Okay, so there's a great book called The Power of Habits, and it's fantastic. And the author talks about this idea of a cue, a routine reward system, and that's how you build habits. And for me, the routine is the really important part. So you've set the vision for your life, you've define your values, we're rocking and rolling, you set your goals, and now it's time to do the work, to build the routines. It's really simple to sit down and say, I want to do the thing. I want to make sure the kitchen is clean. As an example, I want to make sure the kitchen is clean and the dishes are washed before I start work every day. So that's one of the new routines I had to put in place when both Katie and I are now self-employed, and you have to be regimented about your day. And so I built this routine about how I come back home from the gym, start breakfast, or I start preparing breakfast, I shower, come back, eat breakfast, and make sure the dishes are done, clean up all the utensils that we use to make breakfast, and then make the bed, and now I can start my day. And so I tied that routine to a cue, which is I just got home from the gym. These are the things I have to get done. And eventually, when you add a reward to the end, like I can check it off my checklist every day. That's my little reward. I get a little dopamine hit because I get to check it off my checklist. I know I'm a strange bird, but I get a little dopamine hit for checking it off my checklist, and I look forward to that every day and looking around going, yeah, at least these are the things I've done already this morning, and I can feel accomplished about that and proud about that. And that's one less thing we have to worry about. And so that is my routine every day. Every day, if I miss a day, then I try and not miss 2 days. And it's just a regular heartbeat thing, and it is the key to success. We've built routines for so many things about how we buy groceries, how we save money, how we budget. All routines that happen on a regular basis on the calendar, like clockwork. We do it, we do it, we do it, we do it, we do it.
So the beautiful thing about this is we only have a certain amount of willpower, or we only have a certain amount of mental capacity that we can take each day. And by building these routines that we continue to repeat, it becomes a habit. It takes less mental willpower. Your mental capacity is not taxed. And what becomes that habit, your body is going on autopilot. You're automatically doing that. You can then spend your mental energy working on other things. So for us, it's building our businesses. It's figuring out what is the next, financial accomplishment that we want to go and achieve. And we can use that brain power, if you will, for something that is far more important and more impactful to us achieving those goals than simply finishing the dishes or making the bed, right? It may sound absolutely ridiculous and you may be laughing, and I'm not gonna lie, there's been times where I've kind of thought Alan was a bit ridiculous, but there's so much power in when the routine becomes a habit and you actually have all of this mental energy that can be spent elsewhere. It's brilliant. Go read the book. And since we've already teased the fifth part of how to achieve success with your goals, we are going to close with habits.
You can't talk about routines really without talking about habits. And again, in that book, The Power of Habits, this idea that eventually you start craving the routine, you start craving completing the task. I think both of us can attest to the power of routine becoming habit. We crave a workout, the post-workout high. You start saying things like, "Man, I need to work out. I haven't worked out in X amount of time. I need to move my body." And it is a glorious, wonderful, fantastic day when you can finally say, "I need to do this thing," and that thing happens to be aligned. That task happens to be aligned with the vision that you have for your life. It's in line with the values that you've defined. It helps you achieve one of your goals, and it was born from a routine that you established. So now you have this desire, this physical, emotional need to complete the task. It really is the power of habits. And to Katie's point, once the exercise routine, once the morning cleanup routine and doing the dishes become habit, you start desiring to do it. You start looking forward to doing it. I get anxious if I look around the kitchen and the dishes aren't done. We get anxious if we don't get our workout in. Get anxious if we haven't taken a look at the budget in a day and by the allotted day, and those types of things. So it's a fantastic place to get to. Again, I go back to the conversation around you can't rush these things. I don't know if it takes 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, but I know eventually it happens. And the best thing I can say to help that happen is to stick a reward at the end of that routine, right? Like checking off a checklist works for me. Seeing friends at the gym, just by showing up, I get this dopamine hit. Well, you get way more dopamine hits than I do.
Oh yeah, I'm such a social person.
Social person.
I need my people.
Yeah. So I just get a emotional lift just by walking into the gym and seeing the friendly faces that are waiting for us there. So if you're working on a routine and trying to figure out what to do to make it a habit, make sure you stick a reward at the end of that thing, and look forward to that reward afterwards, and you'll get there.
Yes. So thanks for joining us. We hope that you have found this to be tremendously valuable for you. Again, if you've gotten this far but you haven't yet hit that like button, please give us a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time.